How's it going, folks? This is Russell for Toxic Pop reporting from ToyCon, New Jersey. And folks, this is one of the great opportunities of my life. I know I say that all the time, but let me tell you a funny story to begin with. So many years ago, I used to work at the Suncoast in Livingston, New Jersey. At the time, I was doing some area reports online, and one day I'm just sitting at my register, and who should happen to walk in but this gentleman right here? And I made a complete ass of myself in talking to him, but it was still one of the greatest moments of my entire life. And now, not only that, but we got two of the legendary Four Horsemen here. Seriously, could I get much luckier in life? Well, anyway, so folks, how's the time of the con been going for you so far?
It's been really good. We came to show off Mythic Legions and to sell some product. The response to the new reveals have been spectacular. The sales of the stuff has been really brisk, and you know, everybody's been really, really great to talk to. It's been a fantastic time.
Same thing. I mean, we like this show a lot because it's a type of show where people actually will stop at the booth and talk for a while, and you know, we can actually really interact with fans and fellow collectors, whereas you know, we do some of the bigger shows like San Diego and we don't get the chance to really stop and chat with people, so we really enjoy the interaction at this show.
Well, that sounds actually very reasonable, obviously. Now, for those of you who don't know out there, these gentlemen started out at McFarlane Toys. Care to tell us a little bit about that experience for those out there who may not know much, folks?
It was awesome. We actually really enjoyed working there. There was a lot of people that we're still really good friends with and that are in the toy industry and that we work hand in hand with. And it was a good place. It was kind of like a learning experience for all of us. And it kind of prepared us to kind of jump out on our own and do our own thing. It was kind of like preschool, and now we're in college, still learning every day.
Is that how you feel, Mr. Treadaway?
Yes, I mean, it was, we were very young at the time when we came into McFarlane Toys. It was our first job in the industry. So it was, most of the people there, even though the people who had been in the industry for a while, they weren't really action figure guys. So it was a lot of fun working there because everybody was learning at the same time we were allowed to create this really cool stuff. And I think, you know, there was something really clicked there because of all of those elements, and you know, I mean, the rest is history at this point.
Well, the time you were making the best stuff on the market, hands down, and with you guys specifically, I think you still are.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely. So, okay, we're here, and you got the Mythic Legions here. Why don't you guys tell us a bit about what we're seeing in front of us here?
Well, as you mentioned, it's Mythic Legions. It's a line of figures that we've been working on for a couple of years now. We've had this whole thing kind of in our heads for a few years and really wanted to present something to fans that is really not on the market right now. You know, you got Lord of the Rings, and you've got Dungeons and Dragons, that kind of thing. But there's no real figures out there. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to take that kind of thing, the knights, sorcerers, monsters, and create a line that kind of encompasses all that. And it's kind of a general line that anybody can get into, but also have a mythology of its own. That, you know, the characters have a great backstory. The whole world has, the whole mythology has a great backstory. And we did our first Kickstarter 2 years ago, I think it was, and it was a big success. It was the top action figure Kickstarter that had ever been done. And then last year we did another Kickstarter for the next wave, and it blew the previous one out of the water. The fans, not only the response from fans from this line, but the interaction that we have with fans through social media has been spectacular, because we learn from our fans, you know, what they like and dislike. We put things out there, like we've got a few figures on display here, and fans have given us some feedback on what they want to see and, you know, what they like and dislike about different things. So we take all that into account and we present this line to people, and apparently, you know, it's struck a nerve. People seem to really dig it.
Anything you'd like to add, Mr. Treadaway?
You covered it pretty well. Yeah, I mean, this is for us. It's just a complete passion project. These are the type of figures that we wish that we would have had as kids. So I think it's, for us, it's an extension of a desire that we've had for certain types of characters, and just the skeletons and monsters and knights and all these classic character types that we've wanted to see done a certain way for so long. And we're at a point in our careers and the toy industry's in a state where we're able to offer these types of products with this type of articulation, the level of detail and paint that we're able to offer now. So we're able to put out something that's exactly the way we envision it. And luckily for us, people have apparently wanted to see the same type of thing. So it's been a very great experience working on this.
Now, you've premiered the in-person, the Powercon Exclusives here, the ones inspired by Evelyn and Battle Cat. Could you folks tell us a little bit about those two, since they're, premiering here as prototypes?
I mean, we've been, as some of you might know, we've been working on Masters of the Universe Classics and the 2000X version of Masters of the Universe for years, plus a few different other little Masters of the Universe things here and there. And our love of that property led us to, as we're looking at some of these Mythic Legions characters, we say, and if we tweak the paint a little bit here and there, we can do a little bit of an homage. We did it with Unkin, the Orc Weapons Master. We did it with, there was Adamon and Keltis, last year at PowerCon. And then this year we're going to be doing Kauros and Milana. Is that what it is? Melina?
Melina.
Right. Melina. They're going to be at PowerCon, as you mentioned, inspired by Battle Cat and Evelyn. And again, fans have responded really positively to it. Later in the year, we're going to have 2 exclusives right here at ToyCon New Jersey.
You heard it here, folks.
In the fall, Lord Vateris and the Fury Clan Orc, the red orc you see there, are going to be exclusives here. And, response to these has been really good. Again, fans have made some comments. We're taking those comments into account, and we're going to, release these, and hopefully fans will dig them.
I mean, Masters is near and dear to us. Mythic Legions is obviously near and dear to us. So, PowerCon is a fun show for us every year, and so to be able to take those two things that we love so much and merge them together, and it's a little goofy, and it's just purely for fun and for fans to enjoy. We love being able to do it every year.
Now, since we were discussing PowerCon, actually, Eric, you told me some fascinating information about some of the PowerCon exclusives for Masters of the Universe that a lot of fans were complaining about on the org, and maybe you could elaborate for them here. Please explain to them, if you could, why the upcoming Driel and Montork have more Filmation-y designs, just to sort of keep the fans, in the know on the org, understanding if it would be okay.
I mean, honestly, they really follow in the footsteps of the Orko figure that we did years ago. If you look at Masters of the Universe Classics as a whole, I mean, some people are really wanting to categorize it into Club Grayskull and Collector's Choice, which, of course, they are separate, but all-encompassing, as far as we're concerned, it's all Masters of the Universe Classics. And if you go back and look at the line over the years, Orko was a very Filmation-looking approach to the character. Madame Raz, very Filmation. A lot of the She-Ra characters, we took a very Filmation approach, and really, because that's where they lived and existed in the past, was in Filmation. So I mean, as far as we're concerned with those characters, they're just following suit with what with what we've done up to this point. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel to us like we're doing anything really too different with those two figures. But now that the line has been split, everybody seems to have their own opinion of what they want placed where, and of course it's all valid. Everybody collects the line the way that they want to collect it, and they envision it a certain way. But with a couple of characters like that, we feel like the closest relation to those figures in the line is Orko, so we wanted to stay consistent with the approach to Orko.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Mazie?
Absolutely, and not only that, just the Filmation-based characters seem to have struck a nerve with collectors, and they've exploded. They're one of the higher selling of all the Masters of the Universe figures we're doing right now. The Filmation-based characters seem to be doing really well, so we'll see if that trend continues.
All right, so one more question about Powercon. So do we have some very exciting surprises planned for Powercon? You don't have to tell us directly, but just give us an idea here.
Not that I know of. We just showed the surprises we have planned for Powercon. We'll see.
And I think as far as official product, at least from the Classics, Collector's Choice, Club Grayskull end of things, everything's been shown at this point. I'm sure that there will be plenty of surprises and fun to be had there, but at least from our end and an official end on that particular line, I think everything has been shown so far. I mean, there'll be reveals, of course, but we're not at liberty to let that cat out of the bag just yet.
Oh, I totally understand that. And don't worry, one last question for you for the time being, before I know you got to eat your lunch soon. So, okay, you've worked with Mattel, Super 7, and McFarlane. I know you're not going to say you like one company better than the other. I understand that, totally being professional. But, what differences did you notice between working for the three companies?
That's kind of tough to say. I mean, with McFarlane, it was a very, very ground level type thing, and like Eric said a little while ago, it was, we were all kind of learning together. So as we learned that stuff, we took that on to the next phase of our careers and used that. So with McFarlane, it was very say a band releases their first album, and it's rough and it's raw, but it's really cool. And then you get to the next album, and they've kind of refined things a little bit more. That's more what we started doing with Mattel. And we released a few albums with Mattel, and it kind of got even more refined, and things kind of grew and got bigger. And then now we're with Super 7, and it's like, okay, let's try something a little different here. Let's go a little bit different direction, zigzag, and try some new things with it. So it kind of feels like that with those three companies.
What say you, Mr. Trudaway?
Actually, I've always loved that analogy with the bands releasing albums, especially for those early days of McFarlane, because you listen to a lot of bands and you go back and you listen to that first album, and although musically and technically it's very amateur and raw a lot of times, but just the pure energy and the excitement and the creativity is something that later in your career, so a lot of times that it can't be matched. And so there's always the people who are like, well, I like the early stuff, I don't like the new stuff. And so that I always think that's a great analogy for what was going on at McFarlane, because that really early stuff, you go back and look at it, some of it from a technical standpoint, it was very sloppy and kind of dirty, and
it was the 90s.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was definitely cool. And I think, but as far as another big aspect, but if you want to compare the experiences at the different companies, McFarlane Toys was owned by Todd McFarlane. Not a board of directors and public shares and all that. And Todd was very hands-on. So you were answering to a singular voice ultimately at that company. So, for better or worse, Todd had to sign off at the end of the day. Whereas, at a company like Mattel, where you're going to, at the time, I don't know if they still are, but the largest toy company in the world, it's it's anything but that. You know, it's many hands involved, and we were extremely fortunate, and still have been with Mattel the entire time along, that we've been allowed a tremendous amount of creative freedom and the ability to do a lot of work without excessive interference. You know, we're always still answering to somebody, but they're allowing us to do what we do. So those are two very big differences. And then, you know, with Super 7, it's interesting because we're taking the same license we had at Mattel and going to a company that's run more like a McFarlane, where it's back to a smaller company where you get on the phone with the boss and you know, you get an answer directly from the boss. And so we've had good experience, and especially like, just, you know, we're still pretty new with Super 7. We had a great experience with Mattel, and then to go to a completely different company and to be able to continue with a great experience on the same license is kind of unheard of. But I mean, we've been tremendously lucky that way.
Sir, to the two of you, it has been an absolute honor to be able to chat with you, and I hope to be able to get to do it again, hopefully in the upcoming years. Thank you so much for your time. Any closing thoughts you have?
No, I mean, to all the people who have backed us on Mythic Legions and for our upcoming Galactic Legions, thank you, because without you guys supporting us, without you guys, you know, promoting us and helping us out, buying this stuff, and you know, we wouldn't be able to do it. So thanks to all you guys.
I just ditto that. I mean, that's really what it's all about, especially when it comes to this Mythic Legion stuff. It's something that you know, we've dreamed about doing for years, and I mean, we could sit at our office and make these figures all we wanted, but to make it a reality, it's because the fans come out and support this stuff and enjoy it. So you know, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for helping us to make this a reality.
And thank you too again. This is Russell K signing off for Toxic Pop.
This video is sponsored by the Crazy Kings of Toys. Check them out for all your toy needs and find out why they are so crazy. Find them on eBay, Bricklink, and Facebook. Links are in the description. For more Toxic Pop, visit our website at toxicpop1.wixsite.com/toxicpop. Email us at toxicpop1@gmail.com. And check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/toxicpop1 and Instagram at instagram.com/wearetoxicpop. Links are in the description.